now that we have our button working and our main scene is done. So now that we have implemented the button, our main scene here is done. So then we can go into the store scene, as I said. So double click the store scene, and then you will be asked to save the changes in main scene, which you should do. And now we come to a completely empty scene here. We want to add some objects. So we want to add a UI element and the text. We could add that, and then we're going to add a button as well. I'm going to add a button. And now we need to zoom out here a little bit. And let's see where how these are positioned. Let's position this 0, 0. And let's see where it went. And now we can zoom in a little bit here. Now we can move them around. So we can have the button there, and then the text we'll put above it. And this is not any sort of design. I won't be putting much effort into the design, because I want to show you the engine functionality of trading. You can do the design, because that is something I need to spend a lot of time on. So I will just mention this sword, and then I'll say 1 coin. So that's the price. We'll make this white so that we can see it, and we'll put it above the button. That looks about right. Then we'll edit the text in the button, and we'll say buy sword, like that. And for now, that is done. Now we need to add an actual script file and a controller element. So we'll start by creating a new file down here, create C# script, and we'll name it store controller. Hit enter, and then you want to open up that in your editor. We want to begin by adding, as always, using engine SDK, because we're going to use the engine SDK. And then we'll create a new function that is async public void purchase. And if you want to expand this into a large store of multiple objects, you want to include a parameter here where you take an integer, which is the token ID of which you want to trade. Now, this purchase functionality will only be for swords. We might as well mention it purchase sword. And we need to have a few variables here in the beginning. String, the coin token ID, we need to have that. We need to have string sword token ID. And then we need to have string admin address. Those are 3 dependencies that we'll need to begin with. So how do we get these? Well, the token IDs, they will just be declared right here, and we'll get those from GraphIQL. So go in here and you use the view tokens query, which you should have in your history by now, and you'll see all of your tokens eventually, and then you will copy the token ID. So coin has this token ID, and the sword has this token ID. We'll add these here. And then how do we get the admin address? Well, that is available, or no, we need to make that available in the account manager. Because in the account manager, we only have the, let's see here, admin identity and user identity. And for some reason, which Engine has decided, you can't get the address from an admin identity. You can only get the address from an Engine normal identity. So that's very weird, because with the user identity, we can go, let me see, can I demonstrate this somewhere? We can go user identity dot get Ethereum address, but we can't do that with an admin identity. So that's really stupid, but we have to work our way around that. That means that we'll add the variable here that is public string admin address, and that is the Ethereum address. We can set it to an empty string. Then down here in the logging admin function, we have access to the engine identity object. So when we have that, we can also set the admin address equal to identity dot get Ethereum address dot reduce. And as you remember, dot reduce, what we need to specify in dot reduce is what should we set the admin address to if it is not defined from get Ethereum address. Then we'll just set it to an empty string. So we'll make it's a bit easier here now. We'll just set it to an empty string, and then we're good to go. Now we can access this from store controller. So we'll set this to what was it called? Account manager dot instance dot admin address. Then we have that. So these are variables that we will need as we go along here. Now we need to construct two items, and these are called of the type engine item parameter. So these are item parameters that we send into the trade function. So you can view this basically as we need to define the items that we want to trade. And these are defined using an engine specific function. So we'll use this function, engine item parameter dot construct fungible. And since both of our items are fungible, we'll use this construct fungible function. Otherwise, you can use construct non-fungible, which is here as well. But for now, we're going to use this, and it takes two parameters. One is the token ID. So if we want to create the coin item, we need to provide the coin token ID, and then the amount. So how many tokens we want to send. And we want to send one coin. And if you wanted this to be 10 coins for every sword, then you would put that there. But right now, you'll put it as 1. And then we'll copy that and make another one for our sword, or whatever item you have created. And that will be the sword token ID and also one sword. We want to exchange one coin for one sword. If we wanted this to be, let's make it bigger. If we wanted this to be 10, we could put that there. But for now, it will be 1 and 1. With that done, we have all of the variables that we need to start making our trade request. But that is, just like when we made the mint request, quite a lot of code, because we need to have a lot of callbacks for the different states that this transaction is in. So it will look very similar to our mint request, if you remember how that was done when we had these request handlers and the callbacks. So you'll recognize it for sure. But that will be done in the next video because it's quite a lot of code.